Do you ever get tongue-tied on long English words like availability, proprietary, or strategically? Long words are part of everyday professional English, so it's important to feel confident using them. I'm Nicole Kaup, and I help international professionals refine their pronunciation so their speech sounds clear, confident, and effective. In this video, you'll learn the secret to pronouncing long words naturally and professionally. Before we move on and talk in detail about how to stress longer words, I want to let you know that I created a booklet to accompany this video. No need to take notes while you're watching. If you'd like to review and quiz yourself on what you're learning here, just scan the QR code on the screen or look for the link in the description below to download your free word stress booklet. 4, 5, and 6 syllable words are not at all uncommon in English. And you'll even find an occasional word that has 7 syllables. Just the other day, I was reading a novel and ran across the 7-syllable word unapologetically. Once you're comfortable pronouncing 4, 5, and 6 syllable words, you'll be able to add more polished professional vocabulary into your daily speech instead of relying on the same simple 1, 2, and 3 syllable words because you're comfortable with them. Stress patterns in English words cause confusion for a lot of speakers, even those who have been immersed in English for years and have been using it in the workplace for decades. Many of my clients struggle with these longer words because their own languages either don't include words of that length or they stress similarly long words differently than English does. And in high-stakes settings like meetings, presentations, and interviews, a misplaced stress on a word like strategically or proprietary can be the difference between sounding polished and getting asked to repeat yourself. So how do native speakers, even children, know how to pronounce really long words? We do it intuitively. Our brains have stored thousands of words, and when we come across something new or unfamiliar, the brain automatically applies the patterns it recognizes from similar words to guess the pronunciation. You've probably been told that English is impossibly inconsistent when it comes to spelling and pronunciation. That's really not true once you explore further. There's a lot of predictability here. And did you notice that predictability is a 6-syllable word? Longer words are built by combining root words, suffixes, and sometimes prefixes. You'll often find recognizable roots, prefixes, and suffixes stacked together within a single word. Here are a few examples. 5-syllable words: clarification, disproportionate, unrealistic, technological. 6-syllable words: availability, enthusiastically, revolutionary, unappreciated, responsibility. 7-syllable words, which are much less common, but you'll occasionally run across one, especially in medical or scientific terminology. Here are a few in common use: intelligibility, uncharacteristically, telecommunications, oversimplification, and unidentifiable. Most of these are not particularly obscure or overeducated words. They come up in everyday speech more often than you might think. The secret to pronouncing long words correctly comes down to recognizing stress patterns. And for long words, those patterns are remarkably consistent. Most long words are built from shorter base words, usually a noun or a verb, with suffixes and sometimes prefixes added on. For simplicity, this video focuses on primary stress only. That is, where the strongest stress falls in the word, since that's the most crucial stress for word recognition and spoken clarity. Stressing a syllable means saying that part of the word louder, longer, and higher in pitch than the rest of the word. The vowel sound in that syllable is what stands out most, so make sure to pronounce it clearly and prominently. Your listener needs enough contrast between stressed and unstressed vowels to recognize the word. For words with 4 or more syllables, the suffix ending determines where the stress falls. Once you learn to recognize the suffix type, you can predict the stress on the majority of long words you'll encounter. There are two categories of suffixes that cover the majority of longer words. First are type 1 suffixes. These suffixes all place the primary stress one syllable before the ending. I've nicknamed these I suffixes since most of them start with the letter I. That'll make them really easy for you to remember when developing your awareness of English word stress. These suffixes include words ending in ion, ity, ic, ible, ious, ian, ial, ient, ify, and ish. Again, words with these endings have the main stress one syllable before that ending. Here are several examples. Repeat them after me, emphasizing the stressed syllable to train your subconscious mind to recognize the pattern. Then, add your own examples to the list and repeat those too. You want to develop an intuition for stress, so you don't need to rely on rules to produce the patterns in regular speech. Here are several examples from the most common endings you'll encounter. ION, certification, administration, documentation, collaboration, implementation, and identification. ITY, productivity, liability, confidentiality, opportunity, variability. IC, enthusiastic, characteristic, catastrophic, unrealistic, socioeconomic. IBLE, responsible, incredible, irreversible, indestructible, incomprehensible. Now there's another small group of suffixes that follow a different stress pattern. I term these type 2 suffixes. These place primary stress two syllables before the suffix ending. Three of them begin with the letter A, ATE, ARY, and AR. The fourth is IS. In American English, that's IZE. In Canadian or British, ISE. All of these endings place the stress two syllables before the suffix. I've nicknamed these AIs suffixes to help you remember them. Let's begin with ate. Words ending in ATE can have two slightly different pronunciations, but primary stress is placed on the same syllable for both types. Verbs ending in ATE fully pronounce that ate ending. You hear a clear A sound, but the main stress is still two syllables before that ending. Investigate, participate, appreciate, abbreviate. Now, adjectives and nouns ending in ATE keep the same stress in the same place, but the ATE ending becomes a weak it sound rather than a full ate pronunciation. Note that you should not hear the A clearly in the ending. Approximate, immediate, and fortunate. Also note that adding an ly to any of these does not shift the stress. Approximately, immediately, unfortunately. Also in the type 2 suffix category are ARY words: temporary, imaginary, proprietary, and preliminary. And also worth noting, American English fully pronounces that ARY ending, while British English tends to drop the vowel in it. British speakers say secretary, and Americans say secretary. AR words also follow the type 2 pattern: similar, regular, particular, and longer ones like thermonuclear, cardiovascular, and semicircular. Our final type 2 ending is IS. Do not confuse this with an I suffix, which follows the type 1 stress pattern. You can easily remember that this one is different because the pronunciation of the I is I. It's a long I rather than the pronunciation of the suffixes in the short I category are I, like itty and ick. So eyes, maximize, recognize, prioritize, conceptualize, undercapitalize, and overgeneralize. Long words don't have to be a source of hesitation in your professional speech. Once you know to look at the ending of a word and count backward 1 or 2 syllables, you can predict the stress on the vast majority of long words you'll ever encounter, even the ones you've never even heard before. That's the same intuitive process native speakers rely on, and now you know the rules behind it. The more you apply these patterns in your daily conversations, meetings, and presentations, the more automatic they'll become. Now, there's another critical piece to clear listener-friendly speech that goes hand in hand with word stress, and that's vowel sounds. If you don't get enough melody on the vowel, the stressed syllable can be difficult to distinguish. Make sure to check out this vowel video next to correct that mistake and make sure your words come through the first time.